Oh wow, that was a crappy start. What up, everybody? Today I'm just gonna briefly talk about. I'm in a fucking terrible mood right now. I'm sorry. Um, we're gonna talk about Davidson and Gordon's firing and what the fuck does it mean and what's next and yada yada yada. I've had food poisoning the past 2 days. I'm finally just now getting over it. Oh my god, I go to work later. I have to leave work early to take a final, and then I go back to work after my final. So I'm in a fucking phenomenal mood right now. Phenomenal mood right now. Um, I guess first we'll look over the legacy that Jeff Gordon left behind with the Rangers. Jeff Gordon took over in 2015. The first trade he made was Hellberg for a 6th round pick. Who gives a damn? I'm not going to go over every single trade that Jeff Gordon made. One, it would take way too damn long, and two, it just isn't worth it. We'll go over his highlights, and that's it. The first big move that he ever made was the Eric Staal trade. Now, in his defense, I don't really think that was Jeff Gordon's fault. Honestly, we didn't even go that much. 2 second-round picks. I don't even think those second-round picks really turned into anything. I mean, we could look it up, but I do not believe they did. It's worth a look. We'll just take a peek-sees. Let's see. Yeah, so they didn't turn anything. Alexi Sorella kind of fell off the face of the earth, and those other 2 picks, I've never even heard their name mentioned. So, that tells us, oh wow, he is struggling. He was doing better in Buffalo than he is in Montreal. Oof, I hate to see it. Well, not that I really give a shit. Yeah, didn't really matter. Good pickup. This is his first really big move that stood out. So the test of time is his ban on Jeff Brassard. What a fucking move. I wasn't a fan of this trade at the time, but it is what it is. I mean, hindsight's 2020. So, it doesn't really matter anymore. Who cares? Meh. You know, it's still hard to say whether or not the Rangers won or lost this trade. I mean, it's crazy to think that a 7th overall pick, arguably a first-line center, top 4 defenseman, and a decent goalie, and honestly, it became a wash for both teams involved. So, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Antti Ranta's pretty good in Arizona, but weird. Very weird. Essentially, the Rangers got nothing for Derek Stepan. They got a good year out of D'Angelo and a 2nd-round pick out of Elias Anderson. And we still don't know what's going to happen with D'Angelo, so. None of these matter. Great trade, 3rd-round pick for Nick Holden. Good trade. We still don't know what's going to happen to Yegor Rykov. Huge deal right here. Ton of assets. I was not a fan of this trade at first because I had no idea who Lindgren was. I thought Spooner was a waste of space. I thought Bolesky was a waste of space. 1st-round pick and Lindgren. Lindgren I was about. 1st-round pick I was happy about, but I thought we were going to go after one of their top prospects, one of the more notable ones. But glad I was wrong. Ryan Graves, Chris Briggs. Hated that trade from the fucking start. Hated it. Don't know why they did it. Look at Biggers right now and look at Graves right now. Ryan Graves right now is one of the better defensemen on Colorado, which is kind of crazy considering the defensemen they have. Miller and McDonough for Nemesnikov, Hayek, Howden, a 1st and a 2nd. Again, hindsight's 2020, and then maybe in 10 years you might say the Rangers won this trade only because of Nils Lundkvist, but that's assuming that Nils Lundkvist pans out because I don't think Hayek's been bad. I know a lot of people dislike Hayek. I don't think he's been bad from the eye test of it. I wouldn't say he's more than a 5th or a 6th defenseman. I don't think he's terrible. I just think Rangers fans look for a scapegoat and crybaby assholes sometimes, so they just look for somebody to pick on, and Libor Hayek is the guy they picked on. Don't know why, but that's what they chose. Quite frankly, I don't think Hayek is terrible. I just don't think he's great. So, Brett Howden, yikes. Oof. That kid was rushed. He should have spent the year in the AHL. Don't know why they threw him right into the NHL. No idea why. I don't even know what that 2nd-round pick turned into, but the 1st-round pick was Nils Lundkvist. I don't know why they made that trade when they did, but whatever. Fleece, almost, you could argue almost as valuable as the Zibanejad trade. No, I won't go that far. Actually, definitely not, no. But in terms of value going one way to the other, I think the Rangers got a lot more value out of Strome than the Oilers got out of Spooner. And if you're looking at it from value from both sides, I think as much as the Rangers ripped off Ottawa with Zibanejad, at least they got Eastern Conference Finals run out of Brassard and assets out of Brassard, whereas the Oilers kind of got Spooner. He sucked, and Spooner just kind of flourished into a 2nd-line center. Basically what I'm saying is the Zibanejad trade was better for Ottawa than the Spooner for Strome trade was for Edmonton, I guess. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm not making much sense right now. None of these trades really matter. The Zuccarello trade, it would have been nice if one of those picks would have turned into a 1st. I'm not sure exactly what those even turned into. Here's what we're going to do it like this. I'm not sure what any of those picks even turned into that we got for Zuccarello. I'd imagine nothing too great. Actually, Roberts didn't tarnish him, so actually two pretty good players right off the rip. Would have been nice if they would have both, or one of them would have been first round picks, but who am I to complain? You know, the trade's hindsight's 2020. It's over now. Would have been nice, but I guess that's really all we could get for Zuccarello somehow. Pretty good trade. Hayes, you get Lemieux, a first and a fourth. Lemieux was, I guess, when we first got him, he looked like he was going to be a good fourth line, maybe even a third line player. The first round pick, who knows what we were going to use it on. And the conditional fourth in 2022, I don't know if we even get that pick. McQuaid, whatever, waste. Fucking absolute steal. This trade's up for debate, especially depending on how Ville Heinola comes out. Trouba had a pretty good year this year, but definitely isn't a 50-point number one defenseman, which is kind of what we thought we were getting. Whereas Neil Pionk's been a solid top four, and Ville Heinola, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he did this year. 8 games last year, 3 games this year. Pretty good numbers in the AHL. Jury's still on that. He's 20 years old. We'll find out what that third round pick is this year. We weren't getting anything from Novikov. I still think this is a really good trade right here. You traded something you had a plethora of for something you really did not have a lot of at the time, which was wing scoring. And then, David Quinn came along and said, fuck you and your trade, Gordon. We're going to bench and bury Julian Gauthier, even though he's a phenomenal skater. Got crazy good hands and would be effective in a top 9 role. So, there's that. Absolutely great trade for Brady Shea, and they're getting a first-round pick for it. Turned into Braden Schneider after the Rangers traded up using it. At the time, I was wondering if the Rangers possibly could have gotten more out of Brady Shea, but I don't know. I feel like maybe if they would have gotten more, I guess they would have taken more. So, not a bad deal at the end of the day. Give us the money that we needed. Stahl for a second-round pick. You know what's crazy? We ended up not even needing Mark Stahl's cap space that we gained in this trade. So we could have kept the second-round pick out of it, but hindsight's 2020. Elias Anderson for a second-round pick. Nothing's going to change from that. I don't even know what... This is, by the way, every trade that Gordon's made. I don't even know what Elias Anderson did this year, to tell you the truth. I don't know how he did. I don't know if he stayed in the NHL, but... Yikes, Elias. Wait, he went back to Sweden? Or was that just the beginning of the season? Did pretty good in the AHL. You got to feel bad for the kid, man. I mean, he came to New York with such high expectations, and I think those high expectations killed him. Like, expecting him to make the team right off the rip was not a good move by the Rangers. They didn't take the time to develop him. They tried to rush him, and they got disappointed in him, and they kept trying to rush him, and it just ruined the kid. It just fucking ruined him. What a shame. What a real shame, because I actually happen to like Elias Anderson. A little hard-nosed player. Plays his balls off. I thought the year he should have made the team was after this season's training camp. He scored a beautiful goal shorthanded against the Flyers. I thought the kid guaranteed to make the team after that, at least as a third-line center. And they sent him to the minors. They sent him down there, and that's when he became unhappy. Called him back up for the second half of the season. Fourth-line role, kind of buried him. And then this is kind of where it all fell apart. Requested the trade. Boom, gone. Smell ya. What a shame, man. What a fucking shame. Kid's still only 22 years old, so who knows what happens next, but... Probably nothing too spectacular. All right, so with JD and Gordon gone, which I am still not a fan of because I think that's Dolan trying to take way too much initiative. JD coming to the Rangers brought together the Rangers fan base in a way that hasn't been in a long time. Even when the Rangers brought in Artemi Panarin and people were bitching and moaning that he was overpaid, this, that, and the other thing, like... At least when JD came, I didn't see a single fucking fan be like, oh, God, really? This guy? I didn't see a single comment like that. Okay? And you give him 2 years with a little bit of lottery luck. Sure, we got Kakko and Lafreniere. The man somehow convinced Panarin to come here because I think Panarin always wanted to come to the Rangers, but I think JD certainly helped that. And Panarin did go on to say that, but... How do you give the man that brought together your entire fan base, has built the Blue Jackets and St. Louis Blues from nothing franchises to maybe not the Blue Jackets as much, but Stanley Cup contenders in the St. Louis Blues and pretty damn good team in Columbus for a while there. And you fire him after 2 years because you don't think they're tough enough? You don't like that? I mean, unless it's something that we don't know about, I don't really know. It blows my mind how Dolan, who knows virtually nothing about hockey, makes those firings and is, I don't fucking know. There's got to be something going on there that's just in his head is not fucking going right. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I mean, this is the same idiot who thought the Rangers, the year after they sold McDonough, everybody thought the Rangers could be a playoff team. Really? Really? I don't know. Just it's frustrating because everything was going like the good, the bad, and the ugly video that I have stewing right here. I now have to add another fucking 3 slides to it because this is part of the ugly. You fire your president after 2 years, and you fire the GM that has crafted your entire team from the bottom up, completed one of the fastest rebuilds I have ever seen, or anybody in the NHL has ever seen. You have assets so deep in your fucking lineup that you have players like Julien Gauthier, arguably, in terms of the depth chart on the wing, should be in the minor leagues, which is unbelievable. I'm not saying Gauthier belongs in the minor leagues, but I'm saying if you look at the depth chart, he's probably number 5 or 6, which is unbelievable to even think about. So I don't understand it. It makes no effing sense to me why this move was made. If you thought the team would be tougher, mister, you've never done a goddamn thing with hockey in your life aside from owning a fucking team. You've never built anything. You've sat and watched people build it for you and make you money. You've never done a goddamn thing. I'm getting so frustrated. It just made no sense to me. If you thought the team needed toughness, say something. Be a big boy. Use your big boy voice. And I hate to fucking break it to you, Dolan, if John Davidson and Jeff Gordon, who've worked in hockey for probably longer than you've been alive, and they disagree with you, suck a fucking dick. I hate to break it to you. They know more than you do. Just because your pockets are lined doesn't mean you know shit about shit. You know nothing about hockey. Why you thought you were making the right decision or you had the balls to make that, well, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, you're a fucking idiot. You know nothing. Nothing. You know as much as I do. And I'm a fucking idiot. So I don't know. Blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind that he had the balls to do that. I don't know. I don't fucking understand it. I don't. And you know what? It's another goddamn alumni for the New York Rangers, a beloved alumni who just gets the middle finger stuck at him. John fucking Davidson. You just said, fuck you, Davidson. You don't agree with me? Okay, smell you later. Oh, all these accomplishments you had for the Rangers, for other teams, and in the hockey world? Oh, great. Smell you later. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by for a couple of years. Bye-bye. Really? You jerk? You absolute moron? Oh, my God. Like... Look at the Rangers rebuild, right? When was that McDonough trade? 2018, right? Was it 2018 or was it 2017? Who gives a shit? Whatever the fuck it was. Whether it was 3 years ago or 4 years ago. You are 4 years into a rebuild. You went into this season as the youngest team in the NHL, playing in the hardest division in the league, and you finished one spot out of the playoffs. One. And you have the balls to be impatient about that, you fucking moron. Like, are you serious? Are you fucking serious? You have 2 of the best players in NHL history in your division in Crosby and Ovechkin. You have the Islanders who went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. You had the Boston Bruins who were, I feel like every fucking year, the favorites to win the goddamn Stanley Cup. You had the Philadelphia Flyers who had a shitty year. The Philadelphia Flyers, I picked to win the Stanley Cup this year, and a lot of other people picked to win the Stanley Cup this year. I don't remember what the odds are at the beginning of the season, but they were pretty goddamn high. They were one of the favorites to win the President's Trophy. And we finished ahead of them. I refuse and fail to understand where the impatience comes from. Because you finished ahead of a team that was expected to win the President's Trophy, and you finished behind 4 teams that are expected to, in a regular season, be part of the top 5 competitors for the Stanley Cup. So I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't know where impatience comes from with that. Youngest team in the league. I don't know. I refuse to understand it. I don't know. I really don't fucking know. But I am so I'm like actually genuinely afraid as to what the future holds, because when you get an idiot making moves like this because he wants to rush a rebuild, that's when they end up trading young players for aging, depreciating assets. You look back like, wow, why the fuck did they make that move? Let's look back in time, because the Rangers have been on the good side of a couple of those. I don't know, the Ryan McDonough for Scott Gomez deal. right? I don't know. I don't understand it. And if the Rangers start making moves where they're trading their young assets for old, like I'm not saying middle-aged prime players, like 26 and younger, fine. If you're trading for assets over the age of 28 right now, for young budding stars like Kakko, Lafreniere, Lindgren, Fox, Lundqvist, Miller, if they start trading those for like middle of the pack guys because they're a little bit tougher, then you just fucked up everything that we set out to do from the start of this rebuild, which was to build a contender. Which, I hate to break it to you, contenders are built with depth. It's not a bad thing having young depth coming up, always fighting for a spot. Look at the Pittsburgh Penguins when they went back-to-back cups. You had young depth come up out of nowhere in Connor Sherry. The next year you had Jake Gensel. And you had Brian Rust come up out of nowhere. You had you had a bunch of random players coming up kicking ass. Matt Murray, just young guys coming out of nowhere, playing off their ass, fighting for a spot, fighting for a future, fighting for a contract, mixed with some older guys that they signed in free agency, and they won 2 fucking cups in a row. You can make the argument, oh, they went out and got Phil Kessel, fine. You want to make one trade? What do they give up for Phil Kessel? Because now I'm genuinely curious. What do they give up for Phil Kessel? Because they didn't give up any. Oh fuck! I spelled his name wrong. Okay. They gave up a B prospect, a B minus prospect, a first round pick, and a third round pick. Nick Spaulding was a depth player. That's what they gave up for Phil Kessel. So if the Rangers trade a B prospect, a first round pick, and like a B minus prospect, and get a player, like what 6 years ago, Phil Kessel was 27. Fine, you have my back on that one. But if you go trading guys like Hedel and Kakko, and you bring in players like this, like I would be so pissed off. It would make no sense whatsoever. I'm sorry. I'm getting so frustrated because I'm so worried that they're gonna make a dumb move in the name of getting a tough player or something stupid. Like, I hate to break it to you, I'm a big fan of fighting in the NHL. That game against Washington, I know people were crying their eyes out. I fucking love that. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I love that. But that cannot be night after night. You cannot expect that every single night, because that's not how today's NHL works. It works for the New York Islanders because their tough players can fucking wheel, and they play in a good system under a good coach. I hate to break it to you, Barry Trotz would not work with the Rangers in the way this team is built, okay? Today's NHL is about speed, it's about skill, and it's about speed, okay? You need to build a team that has speed, that has skill, and if you want bigger guys, you have Keandre Miller. You have players that are going to win puck battles in the corner. Do not go out looking for a big bruiser that's going to slow the team down, has no puck skills, and it's just going to be a detriment to the team. Because Jack Johnson was that this year. You learned your lesson this year from Jack Johnson, taking away a spot from a young guy. Do not do it again. Please, for the love of God, I'm begging you. And let's move on from this now, because I'm getting a splitting headache, because I am so worried they're going to make a dumb move. Let's move on to the coaching situation. I've seen Tortorella and Babcock's name and certain other coaches' names thrown into the hat. Listen. Oh my God, listen. We are a young team built for speed, skill, and offense. Do not bring in a coach who's got the biggest boner for defense and blocking shots and should have been coaching in the mid-2010s, not the fucking beginning of the 2020s. Listen, I love John Tortorella when he was a coach of the Rangers. The team was built for a coach like John Tortorella. Callahan, Dubinsky, Girardi, McDonough, Hagelin, all those guys were built for a John Tortorella team. Lafreniere, Kakko, Fox, Zibanejad, Panarin, they are not built for a Tortorella team. They're not. They're just not. You're going to ruin these kids the same way Del Zotto and almost Kreider were ruined under Tortorella. For the love of God, if Tortorella or Babcock step a fucking foot near this locker room, forget it. We're done. I'm just going to look at his list. So this is potential candidates for coaching the Kraken. I'm not going to pretend like I know who the fuck any of these guys are. The only one I really know anything about is Rod Brindamore. If you're bringing in a coach, you need a player's coach. You need a coach, sure, that's going to teach structure and certainly going to make players, like, obviously not be all willy-nilly out there and be held accountable for their mistakes, but not like a gremlin like David Quinn, who is ready to fucking pin someone to a cross for a single turnover. You need a coach who's relaxed, is willing to work and be patient with their players, and at the same time promote their growth. I hate to say it, I hate to admit it. The Toronto Maple Leafs philosophy with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, and I know Babcock did come in and fuck it up a little bit, but the way they grew Marner and Matthews and Nylander was perfect. These are premier, young, top-flight offensive players in the league. You do not teach them by burying them in the lineup and yelling at them every time they make a single turnover. The other night when Buchnevich scored, I posted this on Twitter, and David Quinn is coming down and just berating him for something that happened earlier after he made a beautiful tape-to-tape pass for a breakaway that led to a goal, and he's being fucking yelled at for a play that he made earlier. Are you kidding? We just scored a goal. You do not need or want to coach like that with a young fucking team. If the Rangers were a top-flight playoff team, you got veterans top to bottom with a couple young players mixed in, and you are fighting for every inch, tooth and nail, to make the playoffs, fine. You have that argument with your player. You do not have that argument with a young player on a young team when you're already eliminated from the fucking playoffs. Let them play the goddamn game and enjoy it, please, for the love of God. Whew. So, my final point, and I'm repeating myself and I apologize, my final point is the next coach of the New York Rangers should be one that is patient, calm, willing to work with young players, at the same time holding them accountable, not to the extent of David Quinn, but holding them accountable and growing them in today's NHL. This was a very aggressive video from me, and I apologize for the amount of cursing, the amount of frustration I just relayed onto your guys' computer screens or phone screens, whatever the hell you're watching it on. I do apologize, but that's just my opinion. This is me getting everything off of my chest without tweeting it on Twitter. So, you guys let me know your thoughts. If you disagree with me, I want to hear your side. If you disagree with me, you think that Gordon and JD should be fired, I want to hear your side. If you think that we need to bring in a bunch of bruisers and trade away young guys, I want to hear your opinion, okay? I'm a very open-minded person. I am willing to hear everybody and anybody's opinion. But if you get hostile and act like an asshole, I'm not going to respond to you. But if you want to have a conversation, comment down below and let's talk about it. If you agree with me, let me know that you agree with me. I want to hear from you guys because this is a pretty big moment in Rangers current history right now where this team's going. It's a pretty significant moment. It's this could seriously tell the truth what's going on for the next 20 years with the Rangers organization. So let's all see what's going on. You guys relay your thoughts. I relayed my thoughts. I'll try to get to some comments down below. But let's start a conversation. I'm down to hear from you guys. I know you guys just heard from me rambling for 20 minutes. So let's figure it out. Let's see what's going on. I'll see you guys next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.